And next we have Miami. Mario Cristobal going into his second season. 5-7 a year ago, very disappointing first year, and they got two new coordinators. It just didn't work out last year. He brings in Shannon Dawson and Lance uh, Guidry. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, Tyler Van Dyke is back at quarterback. Receiver was a huge problem for them last year. They bring in Tyler Harrell formerly of Louisville and Alabama. So I guess hopefully that will help kind of fix some of that, which it still kind of blows my mind that Miami would have problem finding athletes that can play receiver well. But that's kind of where they were last year. Any thoughts from you kind of on their offense? Like, do you feel like their offense will take a step up from where they were last year, which was kind of trash?
I don't know. Like I'd like to believe that yes, they will. Because it was really bad. It was awful. Do you remember when they played Texas A&M last year? And we, at the time, both of these teams were highly ranked, and we're like, this is a good game. A lot of defense in this game. The offenses, they're struggling, but the defenses have to be just that good. And then like they kept playing weeks later, and you realize like both of those teams are trash, man. They're both trash. So yeah, I hope it's not the same thing this year for Miami. Okay, the talent is there. They have a lot of talent. By the way, they did last year too, which is kind of the bummer. But like you look at like the talent composite, they're a talented football team. Van Dyke was a dark horse Heisman contender a year ago in the preseason. Yeah, like it was someone who like we talked about, right? Like it could be, but like maybe a little bit of a stretch. I think the offense gets better. I do. I think the offense gets a lot better. They get Clemson at their place. I don't think they beat Clemson. I think Clemson's better than Miami, but I think that game could be close. I think they could keep that game close. You have, like we mentioned, this conference is not that good. It's not that good. There's a lot of wins out here. You can beat Virginia. You can beat Georgia Tech. You can beat Boston College. I think Miami does. I have them going over. This was one that I circled early on. I think they have too much talent. I think they go over on it was 7.5. I like that. I think it's a bounce back year. You disagree?
I'm not sure. So like they clearly should go over. Like they absolutely should. They actually, if you're talking about the talent of the team, they're at 61% in the blue chip ratio, right between Florida and Penn State. Like they're a talented team. Probably the second most talented roster in the conference. But then like there's a reason we trust Florida State so much more than Miami. But yeah, like they have the talent. They get Texas A&M at home this year.
Yeah.
They get Clemson at home. Oh, man, yeah, have to go to Florida State, but yeah, they could. To me, it's not so much that they need to beat any of those teams. They just need to start winning all the games they're supposed to win. And if they do that, they can go 9-3 easily. I feel like such a fool even doing it, but like, yeah, it almost has to be better this year. Like, there's no way it could be as bad as it was last year. So I'll join you on the over. And there's certain teams you always just feel terrible taking the over. You know, Texas, Miami, Texas A&M. But here I am falling for it again. So why don't I just jump into that with you? Any more thoughts on Miami?
No, not really. That week 2 game is going to be really interesting. The one against A&M. Yeah, just because like these coaching staffs, Cristobal, even in his time at Oregon, he's always recruited. Like he can he's a natural recruiter. Like it's never been that. It's never been the lack of talent. He's always had guys. Somehow the game day decisions are not great. They're not. And how you don't get up for Middle Tennessee State last like a year ago it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch that and be like, yeah, that's my coach. But some of these other guys, some of these other like, hey, Saban didn't have a good year 1. Kirby Smart didn't have a good year 1. Both of those guys have won multiple national championships. With Dabo, it was a slow burn, right? Like maybe it just takes some time. Can we discount a slow start and let him build up, because there's no doubt that he's doing the right things in terms of talent. He's doing the prerequisite required to win conference championships and to go to the playoff. He is. It starts out with recruiting. So he's doing that, and if he can get like a really good offensive play caller in there and someone that can develop his quarterbacks, there's no doubt that the ceiling is very, very high for Miami just because of the talent around there. So yeah, like you'll always have really good players at Miami. I'd like it. I'd like for it to work out for him. I would like for it to work out for him. I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting with my money. I have him going over. I'm putting something on this.
I do think that he's going to at some point, and this feels a little bit like Jimbo. Like they both know the power of recruiting and the importance of that, but he at some point it feels like maybe he has to take his fingerprints off the offense a little bit and let the guy cook. I don't know.
Sure.
I do think that just naturally they will be better this year than they were last year. Brought in a good recruiting class, by the way, and I expect some of those guys will
They did.
contribute as true freshmen. So that can't hurt.